Good morning. Welcome students. Welcome to the world of sociology. Again, we are back with sociology sessions which we are rightly dealing with the theoretical part of sociology, and today we will be continuing with that most important and most vital area of sociology, that is sociological theory. Last class we were discussing the theory of Auguste Comte, and we have already covered, I hope you are going through the previous sessions, we have already covered positivism of Auguste Comte as a theoretical perspective, and we have started dealing with the law of three stages of Auguste Comte as a prominent thinker and as the founding father of sociology. In the previous session we were discussing the first stage of Auguste Comte, the first stage of the development of human thought, the first stage of the development of human society, that is the theological stage. And I hope you remember whatever we have discussed in relation with the theological stage, which is considered to be the primary stage of the development of the human mind, where the society shall be dominated by religion, by priests, and every idea or every notion would be superstitious in character, like a human infant. Whatever you tell a human infant, maybe a story, maybe an old iconic understanding, whatever that human infant may believe. In the same manner, human mind has also reached a particular point where everything, whatever comes before him, it will be believed and it will be taken in toto. That is the first stage. And from that first stage, we are moving to the next stage, that is the human mind, according to Auguste Comte, is moving to the second and the most important transitional stage with regard to the development of human mind, with regard to the development of human thought, and with regard to the development of human society, and that is the theological, or the second one, that is the metaphysical stage. What is metaphysics? Often, whenever Comte used this term, a question was posed before Comte: why are you using this term metaphysical? Comte was speaking of a later theological stage in the sense, actually theological stage does not end abruptly, but rather it was going through a transitional phase. It was going through a phase when the human mind was starting to ask questions. Of course, we also during our adolescence, maybe during the beginning of our youth, used to ask a number of questions. Why this is like this? Why can be this like that? Why I should follow this? Why I should obey this order? Why can't we do the other way around? Why you are following a number of conventional things? These questions we also used to pose with our elders or with our parents or even with our family members, because we started applying rationality into things. Now if imagine a child or an adolescent of 14 or 15 years or maybe of 12 years of age will not believe a story told by his parents as a reality. He knows very well that it is just a story. In the same manner, human mind also started moving to the next stage, that is a stage of rationality, where superstitions or religious beliefs, I would say, many of the religious beliefs would be dealt with a rational perspective. They started becoming more rational in character, which means a number of superstitious beliefs, a number of superstitious ideas, a number of superstitious perspectives may be replaced with a certain degree, a certain element of rationality. And again Comte say that this is a transitional phase. This may not happen in the same manner in all societies around the world, but it is happening. It is happening wherever man lives, and that is the second stage, that is the metaphysical stage, where slowly and gradually man started questioning things. Man started seeking the answer of things, and man started understanding phenomena. Comte used to say that in the theological stage, of course, man believed that everything in this world, whatever you see, was created by God and God is acting behind them. But when it comes to metaphysical stage, again man has the first belief that everything is created by God. But of course, God is not or may not be working behind every phenomena. There may be some other force, there may be some other natural force, there may be some other natural entity that would be responsible for this phenomenon, probably a physical phenomenon, like wind blowing, or like there is an upwelling of seas to happen. So gradually man started thinking why this happened. and that is the second stage, that is the metaphysical stage, of course, which is a continuation of the first stage. Like an adolescent or like a person post childhood is questioning things, man also started asking questions in this stage. And according to Comte, the stage is considered to be a stage dominated by legal luminaries, which means it is a stage dominated by the lawyers. This is a stage when the legal system started developing very slowly, gradually. There are well established and well codified laws which started emerging, and human life is regulated by a set of laws, by a set of conventions, by a set of usages, etc. So this is the second phase, that is the metaphysical stage, and again Comte say that this stage is characterized by a growing degree of logic, the gradual growth of science and reason, etc. But even then the stage is highly religious. The stage is dominated by religion, and man even today very strongly adhere, man even today very strongly subscribe to his age old beliefs and conventions. Moving on to the third stage, which is considered to be the most important stage according to Auguste Comte, that is the final stage, the culmination of human mind, that is the positive or the scientific stage. So before dealing with the positive or the scientific stage, we need to understand how metaphysical stage has progressed. Initially in the metaphysical stage, the society started moving towards making laws, drawing constitutions, writing conventions, establishing treaties, covenants, etc. and it was moving to a next phase, a phase according to Comte which will be dominated by the industrial society or the industrialists, that is often who we call as the so-called capitalists. Anyway, we can use the term industrialists. That is the third phase, that is the positive or the scientific stage. And Comte say that sociology as the most youngest and the most advanced social science belongs to the third stage. It is a product of the positive stage. Sociology has emerged only in this third phase, that is the scientific or the positive stage. What are the essential characteristics of this third stage? Of course, we will be discussing third stage, which is the most important and the elaborate stage in the next session, but today we will be dealing with the most vital and the basic characteristics of the scientific or the positive stage, which is a continuation of the definitely the metaphysical stage. Man started thinking more rationally. In the world, industrial revolution has happened. We know very well that industrial revolution was a transformation. In Europe especially, the colonial age had begun, and that started pushing man forward to a new phase of inventions and discoveries, to a new phase of scientific logic, to a new phase of human intervention, of human identification with whatever is happening in and around him. And there begins the emergence of the positive sciences in the world, which rightly include all the major disciplines today that we deal with, the physical disciplines that already started emerging in the metaphysical age, and that ultimately Comte has created a pyramid that ultimately culminates into the emergence of sociology as the most scientific and the most positive discipline that man had ever dealt with. So now on we will be moving to deal with the third stage, which will be dominated by the industrial world and which will be dominated by science and technology. That will be an age of technology where a digital revolution shall be initiated, which Comte already predicted before 2 centuries. So that there we move into the third and the most important stage, which we will be discussing in the subsequent classes. So of course today we dealt with the end or the gradual transition of mankind, the transition of the human mind, the transition of the human thought, and the transition of the human society from the theological to the metaphysical stage, which is an intermittent phase dominated by legal luminaries or lawyers, and from where we are gradually moving on to the third and the most important phase, that is the scientific and the positive stage. Thank you.